Good afternoon to all the participants, and I'm also thankful to the Deputy Director of Center for Electronic Governance, Jaipur, and Sri Alok Mathurji, in charge of this training, for inviting me and allowing me to share my views on the topic application of 3D printing in automotive, aerospace, and arts. So let me share my PPT and just confirm whether it's visible.
Yes, sir. Visible.
It is visible, no? And is it changing, sir?
नहीं सर, नो चेंजिंग. एक बार दोबारा करिए, मूव करिए सर.
Okay.
हाँ, यस सर. नाउ मूवेबल.
No, now I have
टेबल ऑफ कंटेंट.
Is it the slides are changing?
सर अब मूव, एक और मूव करिए सर, एक बार. वंस.
No,
यस सर. यस सर, मूवेबल.
So when I'm converting into full screen, you're saying that slides are not changing.
स्लाइड इज चेंजिंग सर. एक मिनट सर.
Now it's changing or not, sir?
ओके.
Changing now, sir? Can you please confirm whether the slides are changing?
एक मिनट. यूजर
It's
कंट्रोल
not
पे भी
changing,
चलो.
sir. You can see overview of 3D printing only.
ये सर 100210. सर आपने अपना नाम क्या बताया था? पुष्पेंद्र.
Sir, Dr. Pushpadant Jain.
पुष्पेंद्र जैन. हाँ सर, थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूजन ये था कि पुष्पेंद्र तो ध्यान था, अब दो पुष्पेंद्र हैं. डॉक्टर
नहीं सर,
पुष्पेंद्र जैन.
सर पुष्पदंत है.
पुष्पदंत जैन.
जी जी, IIT भोपाल यूनिवर्सिटी.
ओके सर. ओके सर. ओके, राइट डाउन.
So can you please confirm whether the slides are changing?
यस सर, एक बार हाँ मूव करिए सर.
I'm changing it, sir. I think it's not changing, right?
नो सर, नो मूव, नो चेंजिंग सर.
When I'm converting to full screen, it's not changing. I don't know why.
यस सर, सम इश्यू है. हाँ, नाउ वर्किंग सर.
It's not changing. Okay, should I start, sir? So it's clearly visible, no? I am audible also?
यस सर.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, very good afternoon again to all the participants. So, I've been given this topic to speak today, that is the application of 3D printing in automobile, aerospace, and art. Right, this is the fourth day, and I can see that this is the 12th lecture that is there, right, in the schedule. I can see it. This is the 12th lecture, so that means you must have must have been told about all the processes, you know. And I can see the complete, this design and development of 3D printers. Then its application also, global perspective also you have been told about, and softwares and the complete process. Right. So I've been given a subset of what has been told to you in detail, means in general. Right. So I'll be discussing these things in a bit of details. Right. This is my table of content. I'll be giving just a brief overview of 3D printing because I need to start with this topic. So just will give you a brief about that. Then it's very important, to understand the raw material that is being used to fabricate different parts. Because based upon that only we will fabricate a particular part, right? Be it a metallic it's a polymeric material, ceramic material, or any other thing, right? So it's very important to understand the material. So I'll just briefly go through these materials in 1 or 2 slides, right? Then we'll directly come to our main topic, that is the application of 3D printing in automotive, aerospace, and art. Right? Then I'll be discussing about few challenges that are existing, and based upon those challenges, we'll try to figure out certain research possibilities. Then I'll just be giving a concluding remarks about whatever we have discussed in this talk. So just an overview of 3D printing. You must have heard of this definition many a times during all the lectures in this FDP. Right. So what is 3D printing? It's a process of joining material to make objects from 3D model data, usually layer upon layer, as opposed to subtractive manufacturing technology, and it is defined by the American Society of Testing and Materials. So it's a bit different from the conventional manufacturing process, right? It's an additive one, whereas the conventional one is the subtractive one, where we are removing the material. That is a subtraction part. Here we are adding up layer upon layer, right? So just to confirm, am I audible? No?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So, and this 3D printing, different people call it by different names, right? There are different, names given to this 3D printing. The most common one is additive manufacturing, right? Additive fabrication, additive layer fabrication, additive processes, additive techniques, layered manufacturing, rapid prototyping, rapid manufacturing, or solid freeform fabrication. So, a number of name has been given to this process, where we are adding up layer by layer, right? And we are converting it into a product form. So this technology was developed by Charles Hull in 1986. So it's not too old process, right? And then subsequently we evolved out of a lot of things, and now at what stage we are, we'll be discussing in the further slides, right? So in a process known as stereolithography, SLA, which is the most common one, right? 3D printing technique. Mostly we are aware of this SLA technique, right? Which was followed by subsequent developments such as powder bed fusion, fused deposition modeling, inkjet printing, and contour crafting. Right? Then slowly, as I told you, that we evolved with the different processes, right? And then, as per the requirement and as per the challenges we faced, we are coming up with a solution of it. And now we are at a very good position in this technology right now. 3D printing, which involves various methods, material, and equipment, has evolved over the years and has the ability to transform manufacturing and logistic process. So it's not about the just manufacturing, right? It has affected the, for example, supply chain also. So it's not restricted to just a manufacturing process. It has, affected the other areas of production also, right? It has given us advantages related to different section of an industry. Additive manufacturing has been widely applied in different industries, including education. Right? Nowadays, you can see that this subject is there in all our educational institutions. Right? At BTech level also, we are providing a lot of education about this, and most of the institutions are having these 3D printers in our lab. Right? Basic 3D printer is available in most of the educational institutions. We are getting nowadays very cheap, low cost demonstration purpose additive manufacturing machines also. So most of the educational institutions are having one or the other 3D printing machine, right? So it's very much there in the educational institutions nowadays. Then is the manufacturing, right? That is means we are producing a lot of parts with the help of the additive manufacturing technique, and under that also a lot of parts in automotive and aerospace we are manufacturing. Then it's playing a very major role in medical, right? Construction, arts, and jewelry also nowadays, because it's the basic thing that we need to develop first is a prototype. The prototype is required in each and every field. So once the prototype is being made, then we develop a final product. So prototype is required in each and every field. So that's why it is gaining its importance in different fields. New applications are emerging as novel materials and additive manufacturing methods are continuously being developed. So with the passage of time, as we know that we come across with different challenges, there are different drawbacks, and other things are there, right? So what we are doing is we are coming up with the new materials, novel materials, right? And different other technique also. We are combining one of the two processes within the additive manufacturing process, and then we are trying to minimize the errors that we come across. So one of the main drivers for the technology to become more accessible is attributed to the expiry of early patents, which has given manufacturers the ability to develop new 3D printing devices. So as you know that by any technology or any machine that we have, if we go for the patent, its life is 20 years. So this is also happening that because it's not too old technology. You are seeing in 80s it has been come into existence. So because of the previous patents being expired, we are coming up with a new 3D printing devices also. Recent development has reduced the cost of 3D printers, thereby expanding its application in schools, homes, libraries, and laboratories. Initially, 3D printing has been extensively used by architects and designers to produce aesthetic and functional prototypes due to its rapid and cost-effective prototyping capabilities. Right, so these are some of the advantages that helps us in using these 3D printing machines. The use of 3D printing has minimized the additional expenses that are incurred in the process of developing a product. So there were lot of processes involved in our conventional manufacturing system, but it has reduced those steps and has thus minimized the additional expenses. So the cost factor is the most important, along with the time that these machines have reduced a lot. However, it is only in the past few years that 3D printing has been fully utilized in various industries, from prototype to product. So initially these were used for the prototype only, but now as we can we have done certain research and we are growing up with these machines and techniques. So now we are converting those prototypes into final product, and nowadays means just apart from the post processing, we can we can get the final product also out of this 3D printing technology. Product customization has been a challenge for a manufacturer due to the high cost of producing custom tailored product for end user. So these customization of product, right? Basically what we do is when we get some problem, so we try to focus on that problem only, but we need some generalized solution to the problems that are existing, right? So because the customization is required nowadays, the variety of products and the changes are so frequent that we need to change our system completely. So we need to have a certain system that will help us in customizing the things. The growing consensus for adopting the 3D manufacturing system over traditional technique is attributed to several advantages, including fabrication of complex geometry with high precision, maximum material saving, flexibility in design, and personal customization. So there are several advantages we have discussed also, and we can see that fabrication of complex geometry is the one very important advantage that 3D printer has given to us. Otherwise, for in a conventional process, it used to take a lot of time, and accuracy cannot be maintained in that case. So, and we are able to save a lot of material, and there is a lot of flexibility, and we can customize the things also. A wide range of materials that are currently used in 3D printing includes metal, polymer, ceramic, and concrete. This we know, right? So basically, we started with the polymers. The thing that I'm talking about, that we all education institute have, we have the wires of these polymers only, right? So polylactic acid and acrylonitrile butadiene styrene (ABS) are the most common one, right? Main polymers that are used in 3D printing of composites, right? Advanced metals and alloys are typically utilized in the aerospace sector because traditional processes are more time consuming, difficult and costly. Right? So traditional process, as I told you, that it takes a lot of time to get a particular product, and also the cost is also another factor that is very important. So these metals and alloys are utilized mainly in these high-end industries like automotive and aerospace. The most common method of 3D printing that mainly uses polymer filament is known as fused deposition modeling (FDM). In addition, additive manufacturing of powders by selective laser sintering, selective laser smelting, or liquid binding in three-dimensional printing, as well as inkjet printing, contour crafting, stereolithography, direct energy deposition, and laminated object manufacturing are the main methods of AM. You must have discussed these process in detail in the previous lectures, I guess. So just getting into the materials that are being used in the 3D printing technology, which is very important, because based upon this only we have to use a technique and we can produce a particular product. Metal additive manufacturing is showing, means first material that I'm talking about is metal and alloys. So metal additive manufacturing is showing excellent perspective of growth. The number of companies selling AM system went from 49 in 2014 to 97 in 2016. Just in 2 years, you can see, the 100% rise in the number of companies that are coming into this metal AM. This technology has been used predominantly for research, prototyping, or advanced application in the aerospace industry. Example is manufacturing the F-15 pylon rib by Boeing, right? It is also used in biomedical, defense, and automotive industries. Right, so there are lot of metal-based machine working on different principle, and generally they fall in one of the four categories, that is powder-based fusion, binder jetting, direct energy deposition, and metal extrusion. Right, because if we are talking of the high-end industries like automotive and aerospace, this metal and alloys are very important for us to understand. Right, and there are a lot of companies that are working on this. They are developing these 3D printing machines like 3D System. Right, it was the first company to enter into the market. Right, 3D System. Then we have the Arcam, we have Adapt, we have Concept Laser, right? We have EOS, right? Then there are other lot of companies now that are there in the market producing the different 3D printing machines, right? And Ultimaker, you must be knowing, this is a very common name in India, that we have our 3D printer made up of these Ultimakers, right? Second type of material that is frequently being used is polymer and composite. Right, this most of us, those who have seen the 3D printing machine, must have used the filament, polymer filament for additive manufacturing. Right, polymers are considered as the most common material in the 3D printing industry due to their diversity and ease of adoption to different 3D printing processes. Polymers for additive manufacturing are found in the form of thermoplastic filament, reactive monomers, resin, or powder. The capability of employing 3D printing of polymers and composite have been explored for several years in many industrial applications, such as aerospace, architecture, toy fabrication, and medical field. Some of the benefits include the ability to customize geometry with high accuracy and its cost effectiveness than traditional formative methods such as molding and extrusion for customized products. So as these materials are very easy to handle also, right, and they can be easily converted into different type of product also. So that ease of handling this has resulted into number of machines that are working with the polymer and composites. Next is the ceramic material. So additive manufacturing has become an essential method for manufacturing advanced ceramic for biomaterials and tissue engineering, scaffold for bones and teeth. Despite the accuracy of printing, layer by layer appearance, and a limited selection of materials are the main challenges for 3D printing. Post-processing of sintered ceramic part for forming the desired shape is a time-consuming, costly process. Therefore, 3D printing of complex shapes followed by sintering to produce ceramics with complex shapes has become very attractive. So since this is a completely a new technique of producing a particular part, so we have to think of the post processing also. We have generated a particular part, right, out of 3D printer, but how to do the post processing, how to get the final product out of it, what all finishing process are to be used. That is also very important, right? Because different materials need different types of post processing technique. Polymers are easy to handle, right? Then comes the metal and alloys, and then comes the ceramic. So we need to find out those techniques along with the evolving techniques of 3D printing for finishing operation, for post processing operations, right? So it's not just focusing on producing a particular part, but also what all processes are to be used after that, post processing techniques. Then is the concrete, right? Additive manufacturing technique has been expanded to the construction industry also. A similar technology to inkjet printing called contour crafting as the main method for the additive manufacturing of building structures have been developed. This method uses larger nozzle as compared to we have seen the small nozzles, right? It has a very larger nozzles and a higher pressure to extrude the concrete paste. In order to have a smooth finish instead of layer by layer appearance, a trowel-like apparatus has been designed that is attached to the print head. Now, see the changes that have been made with the 3D printing machines. A trowel has been attached to it so that it can give us, smooth finish instead of layer by layer finish, because we need, firm binding between the surfaces. So the trowel has been attached to the machine itself for making our things, easier. This is a generalized, application of 3D printing, right? And just a summary of main application, benefit, challenges of the materials used in additive manufacturing. So we have discussed these 4 materials, and you can see metals and alloys, polymers and composites, and ceramics that are being used in the aerospace and automotive industries, while others are used in these all the 4 processes are used in some of the other applications. Right, then you can see the benefits also, right? What all are the benefits? So metal alloys, you can see multifunctional optimization, mask customization, reduced material waste, fewer assembly components, possibility to repair damaged or worn metal parts. Nowadays, what is happening is, instead, what we used to do is we used to get the child parts from different companies. Now, there used to be 100 vendors for example, aerospace industry, for automotive industries. Now, what we are trying to do is, using this technology, 3D printing technology, what we are doing is we are trying to assemble 2-3 components together and produce them at the same platform. Right, so that has this is one of the good advantage or better thing about the 3D printer, that fewer assembly components are required now. Right. Similarly, you can see about the polymer composite also. Right, cost effectiveness is very much than the mass customization, because the weight is very less, right? Similarly, in the ceramic also, in concrete also, you can see I think all these things must have been discussed in detail by the previous experts. So what are the challenges with metal and polymer? Why am metal and alloys, why are we focusing on this is because in automotive and aerospace, though polymers are being used widely, the covers or any plastic brackets or plastic attachments or small other plastic parts are being extensively used in all the industries, but the challenge comes with the metal and alloys and then the ceramics. So what are the challenges in this? Limited selection of alloy, because that the heating is a very important part. Once we are going to provide a particular raw material, it need to be heated up, and then only we'll be able to get a layer by layer formation of these parts. So for that reason, in metal and alloys, we need to heat the raw material that will be coming out of the nozzle. So we cannot use the metal which have very high melting temperature, right? Though we are using not the conventional one, but unconventional like electron beam, laser, and all these things for heating. But still, there is a challenge related to it. Dimensional accuracy and poor surface finish, right? In case of the intricate part, again, it becomes difficult to control all these things. Post processing may be required, right? Definitely, in case of metal alloys or any other product, also post processing is somehow required because we do not get that much amount of accuracy when we produce the part with the 3D printing machines, right? If we come to the ceramic part also, so there is limited selection of 3D printed printable ceramics. Again, as I told you, that heating is one of the important part or steps that is involved in 3D printing process. So we need to melt the ceramic, and the melting point of ceramic is very high. Yes. Dimension inaccuracy and poor surface finish, right? And this is again a challenge, right, as I discussed with the metals and alloys also, right? And post processing, that is same thing will be maybe required in the ceramics also, right? I'm just focusing on the metal and alloys and the ceramics. Now coming to the directly to the automotive application, right? So 3D printing technology have been rapidly changed our industry to design, develop, and manufacture new things. In the automotive industry, 3D printing technique have made phenomena to bring new science, allowing for lighter and more complex structure in the past time. Right? So things are evolving at a rapid pace, right? As we are getting some of the other challenges and coming up with the new solutions to it. Local motors, right? Local motor is one of the uh, old companies, right? Producer of different cars and all. So local motors have printed the first 3D printed electric car in 2014. So exclusively they have printed this electric vehicles, right? Electric car, that is. Not only cars, local motors are also extending the wide range application of 3D printing technology by manufacturing a 3D printed bus called Oli. I will show the figure in the next coming slides. Right? Oli is a driverless electric recyclable and extremely smart 3D printed bus. They have completely made a bus out of this technique, right? But it is specifically for this. If you wanted to customize the things, you want to change the design, so it becomes difficult for us for such a huge kind of setup, right? Ford is the leader in the use of 3D printing technology, also applied 3D printing plans to produce prototypes and engine parts. And I've taken a lot of names, right, which are manufacturing, and they are collaborating with the automotive industries to accommodate their problems, and then customizing the things, making changes in whatever way they can, right? Because you can see the change in the design of the vehicles nowadays. We will talk about the car only. So there are a lot of changes that are coming in the cars also, either in the bonnet part or front part or back part, right? There will be certain design changes in a month or so, right? Nowadays the change is so frequent. BMW also uses 3D printing technology to produce hand tools for automotive testing and assembly. Meanwhile, in 2017, Audi was collaborated with SLM Solution Group AG to produce spare parts and prototypes. Right. So this is our future, right? So we have to come up with this. All the automobile industry have to adopt this technology to you know bring about cost saving and time saving. Right. AIM technologies have found their application in the automotive industry too. This is what we are talking about. It has opened doors for newer designs, cleaner, lighter, and safer products, shorter lead times, and lower costs. These are the advantages. A big challenge for manufacturing automotive parts using AIM technologies is the limited build volume of current 3D printers. So this is the main problem actually we have with the 3D printers, that the build volume. As I told you, they have developed a Oli car, right, which is this electric car, right? But this is exclusive to that car design and the features that it has, right? So we are trying with a specific things, but we cannot generalize the things, right? So this is the main problem, since the build volume is the issue related to the 3D printers. So it's restrict the production of larger components. So this is one of the problems that we cannot scale the things. Scalability is one of the issue, right, with the particular machine, right? It can produce one or two components, right, or one specific component or one or two component, but we cannot. The scalability is very difficult in that case. One example is the Mammoth stereolithography machine developed by Materialize, which has built envelope of 2100 mm cross 680 mm cross 800 mm. Right, so it's a Mammoth stereography machine, so big machine, right? You can see the build volume. Otherwise, you'll not find the build volume means up to 800 mm also. So this is a huge, machine that is providing such a big build volume, right? Big enough to manufacture most of the large component of an automobile. This 3D printer was used to build outer shell of the race car Ariane, right, developed by Formula T Group T in just 3 weeks time. See how much time we are saving with development of such techniques. This is just an illustrative example of the application of AM in the automobile sector. You can see there are two categories in this. What we are doing currently and what is the future requirement of this technology in the field of automobile. Right. So in the current scenario, you can see what we are able to produce. We are able to produce the exterior and the exterior trim application, like for example bumper, wind breakers. Right. Technology uses selective laser sintering, and the material uses the polymer. Then the second thing that is currently being used is fluid handling. That is, application is pumps and valves. We are producing using this technology, and the technology we use this selective laser sintering and electron beam melting, right? And the material used is aluminum alloy. Then certain manufacturing processes, right? Prototyping, customization, tooling, and investment casting. Right, and the technology used, uses fused deposition modeling, inkjet selective laser sintering, right? And the material used are polymer, wax, hot work steels. So the fourth category of the current application of AM in the automobile is exhaust or emission system, right? Application is cooling vent, right, that is being developed using this technology, right? And the AM technology used is selective laser melting, and the material used is aluminum alloy. So these four categories of components that are being produced, you can see that polymer is highly used and aluminum alloy is highly used. Right? We are not talking of too much of steel or some other material, right? Non-ferrous material or some other parts that are being made. Right? So we need to extend this technology to other things also. So the future things that we can see in this field is powertrain and drivetrain application, like for example engine component, right? So now the material used is the titanium alloy, and you can use the existing technology, that is selective laser melting and electron beam melting in them. Right? Though we are able to produce these things, but on the mass production or for different products, it is yet to be discovered. Right? Frame, body, doors, application, body panels, and AM technology that will be used will be selective laser melting, and the material will be aluminum alloy. So these are yet to be developed in the full scale. Then OEM component, original equipment manufacturer. If, for example, Maruti is OEM, so can we produce the whole body in white? That is challenge for us. Application, body in white, for example, and AM technology, selective laser melting, electron beam melting, and the material will be aluminum and steel alloy. So here we are talking of how we can increase the build volume, right? How we can increase the work envelope, right? If you can increase the work envelope, you will be able to produce this body parts also, or complete body cover also. Then another area is the electronics parts, that is embedded components such as sensors, single part control panels. The AM technology used is selective laser sintering, and the material used is polymer. So nowadays we are, as I discussed earlier also, we are coming up with in such a process that we are assembling the electronic part together with the polymer and all these things, so that we can reduce the number of the parts and number of the suppliers that supplies those parts. So we are trying to assemble a number of child part onto a parent part through this technology, so that we can decrease the number of the suppliers. We can uh, you know optimize the supply chain, right? Then another is the wheel, tires, and suspension, right? Application area will be hubcaps, tires, suspension, springs. Again, AM technology using the selective laser sintering, inkjet, selective laser melting, and the material used will be polymer and aluminum alloy, right? And the last one in this category is the interior and seating application, dashboard, seat frames, right? Complete, dashboard. You can see this the length of the dashboard is higher as compared to the product that we are making, and you can see we are talking about the build volume of generalized build volume of 200, 300, or 400 mm. We do not get more than that in generalized machines. There are specific machines which are having a the full length of 800 mm or 1000 mm, and just for the example of 2200 also. So they are specifically being made for a particular purpose. They are not generalized purpose machines, and then it's not easy to use those machines also for other parts. So this was the current and the future perspective related to the application of AM in the automobile sector, right? So automobile manufacturers and their sub-suppliers have been among the first adopter of AM after the technology emerged in 1980s. Moreover, they have been the pioneers in the use of 3D CAD system since inception. Therefore, 3D design has not been a hurdle for the automotive industry in applying AM. Right. So since inception, these are being used in producing small parts in case of automobile also. So now they are thinking of the industries are thinking of coming up with specific machines that can help in designing larger parts also. Then assembling different parts together also. So all these things are being worked out. As the number of prototype increases due to diversification, product variation gain important. Prototype are used by companies for internal validation and form fit and function. So this was the primary use of 3D printers, that is prototype development, right? We used to develop the prototype only initially, right? Later on the later stage we have come up with the final product. So because prototypes are used by companies for internal validation form fit, so this is also very important part of it. They are an excellent marketing tool for discussion with the customer and suppliers, right? Customize product, mitigate direct manufacturing, significantly reducing the tool cost. So tool cost is also important, right, in terms of the industries manufacturing different parts of the automobile. So that is also being reduced with the help of single machine. The design of the interior of automobile determines the character of the vehicle and often influences the buying decision. So it's very important, when we go to purchase a vehicle, right? What we do is we just sit inside the car first and see how it is looking. Are we comfortable in it? Or how is the dashboard, right? The front things that we can easily view. So that we need a very good, pleasant view, right, of the interior part of an automobile. The interior normally is formed from various single parts that originate from numerous sub-suppliers. The majority of parts are manufactured via injection molding, right? Therefore, additively manufactured parts are primarily used for test and presentation of car concept. But nowadays, we are developing a lot of things, right? For example, you can see this our whole music system and all the cover of that. We can easily produce with the help of 3D printers. But in the future, AM parts will be increasingly installed directly in the cars, mainly because of the decreasing size of the series and increasing number of the variation. Although all additive manufacturing processes can be applied for the production of interior part, the preferred processes are laser sintering, extrusion, and polymerization. Usually, laser sintering and extrusion lead to directly applicable parts, whereas by means of stereolithography or polymer printing, typically master molds for secondary processes are generated. Right? So these are few techniques that can be used for producing the parts. Right? You can see just an example. I've taken some interior and exterior components, right? So just to have a look of what we can produce and how it look like with the this 3D printer. So this is a dashboard, right? Everybody's seen the most of us have seen the dashboard in the car. So dashboard ensures for a radio or the control element of the air conditioning is displayed below. As the geometry depends on the car's equipment, finally determined by the buyer's taste and budget, many different designs variation are required. So this is one of the requirements that we have, that a lot of variation are required. Number of cars are there in the market, so different cars have, so all the cars have different design, spacing and all these things, and its work volume is also very not high, right? So we can easily develop these things with the help of the 3D printer. So this is one of the very good example. Here we are using just a polymer, right, for producing it, right, polyamide, and the process uses the laser sintering, right? The second example in this series is the fuel tank, right? This is again an interior component made up of polyamide. Generally, you will see the product made up of polymers only, easy to handle, easy to use, and small components can be easily made into 3D printers. The fuel tank shown below is very complex technical part that is installed inside the vehicle and not visible to the customer. Often the fuel tank has to be fit into the available space that is provided in the first design concept. Sensors for fuel level control are integrated into the tank. Laser sintering of polyamide provides stress resistant part like the dashboard insert or the fuel tank, but the result in the reduced surface quality compared to the polymerization process. So what we find problem in this one is the surface quality is reduced as compared to the polymerization process, right? So here we have to go for a different post-processing technique to get the final product. That finishing is to be required. So post-processing technique has to be adopted for getting the final product. The other interior component example that you can see is, in contrast, the speaker housing depicted below shows a very good surface quality, and therefore it can be used like a series part. It was manufactured at a room temperature vulcanization copy from a polystyrene master model. The AM master model provides a detailed geometry and the surface quality, while the colored and loadable materials and the desired number of parts are produced by the RTV process. Right? So you can see this housing, speaker housing, and this being made with the help of stereolithography. And master model, silicon model, you can see the left one. In the cast part, you can see in the resin transfer system that has been made, right, in the right part is there. This also the other example that we can see for the interior component. Interior lamps as well as front and the rear lamp in particular are frequent object of design variation. Right, we can see easily. We can see this in the cars, right, how these designs are being changing. Design variation can be generated quickly with a high quality by additive manufacturing and then be evaluated. Transparent elements are important feature of the lamp. Right? So these are the interior lighting that we have. Design variation, the technique uses stereolithography and RTB, right? The elements are produced additively as non-transparent parts. Afterwards, they are cast as transparent and colored if needed. Right? Parts are being means of RTV. Even the texture of the diffusion plane can be achieved by special foils inserted into the silicon mold. So, once we have produced the parts, if you wanted to have certain modifications, certain addition, right, coloring, transparency, all these things, this can be done by some other technique also, right? Elements such as switches or frame for lenses are manufactured separately by the same procedure and inserted into the final part. So switches or frames for lenses, these are the manufactured, these are manufactured separately, and then we just assemble these parts, right? Like many other parts, lamp socket and covers produced by LT Manufacturing are also used as spare parts for vintage cars in small series or as individually manufactured part in for racing cars, right? You can see this front panel, the front of this car, right? It's specifically designed front panel for a car, right? Now you must have are looking at complete part, but it is being made separately and then combined together. So special edition of vehicles derived from the volume car production are often not only equipped with more powerful engine, but demonstrate their exclusive status by modified front and rear spoilers or side skirts. As an example, the below figure shows a front spoiler for a very special series. So it is not generalized design. It is being made for a special series of car, right? For economic reason, manufactured by means of scale cannot be justified, right? So again, you can see the modified front spoiler for a vehicle. Special edition is this, right? Made by the laser stereolithography, RTV, finishing, varnishing, and all these things are being done post processing, and then you can see this final product, right? For this small serial spoiler was split into three parts, as I've told you that it has been made into three parts and then combined together. Right? Each of the section was manufactured by AM, laser sintering or stereolithography, and then finished and assembled into a single master model with the help of the gauge. Right? Gauging system has to be there to assemble all these things so that dimensions are maintained. In the subsequent RTL process, small series spoiler was produced from polyurethane and one is in the car's original color and completed using the original decorative parts, grill, logo and frame from the self of the vehicle manufacturer. So, coming up with a final product requires, IT manufacturing machine plus the post-processing technique that we have to follow, right, to get the final product. So, it's not, like that we will be getting the final product out of this IT manufacturing machines. We have to go for the post-processing, different processes for getting the final product, right? As desired, because aesthetic is also one of the very important part when you talk of the automobile and aerospace kind of thing. So you have to take care of the aesthetic also, maintaining the quality and the dimension and the functionality. So this is a manifold, right? This is another example of another exterior component that is being used in automobile. Metal element for the powertrain or engine component and manufactured into final product quality by means of IT manufacturing processes, primarily by selective laser melting. The parts can be single test part or small series parts to be used, for example, in case of racing cars, right? As an example, an exhaust manifold of racing car used in European car competition is shown in the figure below. So this is an exhaust manifold. You can see intricacy of this part also, right? It's exhaust manifold of a racing car, and you can observe that most of these parts are being made with the selective laser melting, right? So this is the Oli car that I was talking about of a local motors produced by the local motors, right? This is the electric car that was made, right? The further development of IT manufacturing process not only points to faster printing and shortening of the processing time, there is also a strong trend towards making large part also. So we are not still we are not sure that how economical it will be, but for specific purposes we are making such product which are having a very large volume, right? Large parts are being we are trying to make a large parts, right? We have not come up with a scalability of those large parts. Once we try the scalability, then we have to find out what is the cost and all these things that come into existence. Definitely, time will be less, but we have to see the cost that is being incurred while making a particular product. So this is also a strong trend towards making larger part. The company Local Motors, for example, presented the Starty as the first 3D printed car in 2014 worldwide, printed on the BOM, excluding and milling. Big, what is BOM? Basically, it's a big area additive manufacturing, followed by 3D printed bus only, right? So first they have produced Starty, right? It's a 3D printed car, and then further they came up with another 3D printed bus, that is Oli, right? So it's an AM-based autonomous driving electricity bus, right? So electric vehicle it is, right? And it is a driverless electric vehicle. Now, I'll just stop here for the automobile, right? We will discuss the challenges. Challenges are more or less the same in case of automobile or aerospace, right? Because the parts are almost, though the build volume for the aerospace is very large as compared to automobile, but still, the problems are more or less the same. So challenges we'll discuss at the end for all these things, right? So coming up with the aerospace industry, right? How this 3D printer is being used in the aerospace industry, right? The Honors report shows that the aerospace industry accounts for 18.2% of the total AM market today. Right, it's not less, right? The percentage is quite good, right? So, and is considered one of the most promising field in the future. AM techniques are ideal for aerospace component as they have the following particular characteristics. Now, in case of automobile and aerospace, this is very important to understand that the parts that we are manufacturing or producing out of 3D printers, we cannot compromise with the quality of the products, right? So for that reason, we have to be very, aware about the things that we are using, how we are producing, because we cannot just produce a part and use it, because it is directly related to the life of the human being. So this is very important that we come up with such technique which provides all the qualities of the product so that it functions properly for the time period it is defined for, right? So durability we have to see. So what are the characteristics that requires AM technique to be utilized in airspace? First one is the complex geometry. Right, you can see a lot of complex parts being manufactured by using the additive manufacturing technique. Right? Complex shapes are necessary for integrated functions, that is structural, heat dissipation, and airflow. For example, General Electric Aviation is developing fan blade edges with optimized airflow. Moreover, it is possible to simplify parts by combining multiple components such as GE fuel nozzles. Right? Finally, functional electronic can be implemented easily as a main part. So this is what I was talking about. Since you can produce a lot of complex geometries through this 3D printer, what we can do is we can assemble the different parts into one part, right? So we can reduce the number of the child parts being used in making a particular complete component. Difficult to machine materials and high multiply rate. The aerospace industry uses advanced and costly materials such as titanium alloy, nickel-based alloys, high-strength steel alloy, or ultra-high temperature ceramics that are very difficult to manufacture and create a large amount of waste material, up to 95%. AM reduces waste down to around 10 to 20% and provides complex shape. So first thing is that it uses the different non-ferrous alloys, right? That has been ferrous as well as non-ferrous. There will be written certain titanium, nickel-based alloys and all these things, right? So ferrous as well as non-ferrous alloys, but they're difficult to manufacture, or we can say it's time-consuming, and then we need to have a very good finishing out of that, right? And the other drawback is that the waste material produced is very high, up to 95%. See how much waste is being produced, right? It's very, we can work on this. This is very important, that we reduce the waste material when we are manufacturing something. So AM reduces waste up to 10 to 20%, very good percentage that we can work upon, and then provide a complex shapes also. Then another characteristic is the customized production. We can customize the different parts in case of using this 3D printing technology. The aerospace industry is characterized by production of small batch of parts. AM is more convenient economically than conventional technique for small batches. It does not require expensive equipment such as mold or die. Right. So for small batches, we can produce large number of components. Right, for small batches. It's economical also, right? Because in case of conventional techniques, we used to have molds and dyes and all these things. If it is the part is complicated, designing of the dye itself take a lot of time, and then if something goes wrong, then assembling, locating, all these things is very it is not good practice, right? It takes a lot of time also, so we need to use a more economical, a more convenient process, and AM gives us that convenience, right? So next characteristic, on demand manufacturing. Airplanes have a long working life up to 30 years. Keeping old parts incurs a notable cost of inventory, but AM is capable of manufacturing part on demand, thereby reducing the maintenance time. So as and when required, so AM can produce a particular part, and so we can save ourselves from this keeping the inventory, because inventory takes a lot of incurs a lot of cost in the production system. The next characteristic is high performance to weight ratio. Aerospace components need to be lightweight and present high strength and stiffness to weight ratio to reduce cost and emissions. Right, just in you cited example also, the cost of space travel to low Earth orbit, that is orbit around the Earth at an altitude of 2,000 kilometers, is around $2,500 per kg. You can see costing of incurred in this kind of space system, right? So I'm audible? Just need to confirm once again. I'm audible? Can anybody confirm? Hello? I'm
Audible,
audible.
sir.
Can anybody confirm?
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. So just an overview of, I've taken a picture, right? Let's see some of the components being produced by the AM techniques. So in the early stage of AM in aerospace, the technology have been limited to producing tools, and indirect manufacturing aid used to help other traditional manufacturing processes. It was not a direct use of these AM processes, right, in aerospace. It was just an producing tools or providing an aid to traditional manufacturing process. But now what we are doing is producing the product for the product for the aerospace, right? In recent years, however, more and more additively manufactured components are being installed directly on the aircraft, innovating the industry with vastly improved design, freedom, and simplifying logistic challenges such as inventory control. As you said, on demand we can do it. Yeah, as and when required, we can produce a particular product, right? So earlier the practice was different. Now the trend has changed. We are producing part that can be directly installed, right, within the system. So in this figure, you can see that there are different components being marked, right? There are cabin vents that are being produced, baggage compartments, clips and clamps, small parts, very easy to make, and then plenums is there, right? It's a part attached to this system. Drain fairings are there, then air filter boxes are there, brackets are there. Brackets are nowadays mostly made with the help of this manufacturing technique, and brackets are mostly used in the automobile or in the aerospace industry, right? They have to be used, the intermediate part for attachment of different components onto the parent part, right? right? So all these small things, polymeric things are very easy to be make the product for the aerospace industry, right? 3D printing technology provides unparalleled freedom, design in component and production. In aerospace industry, 3D printing technology has a potential to make lightweight parts, improved and complex geometries, which can reduce energy requirement on the sources. This is one of the important things, that it also helps in reducing the energy requirement. And it saves energy, right? Which is also very important parameter. Right? At the same time, by using 3D printing technology, it can lead to fuel saving due to reduction in the material used to produce aerospace parts. Right? We can use the material, lightweight material also. We can reduce the number of the child parts also. So finally, what is going to happen? We are going to save the fuel. Right? This is one of the ultimate aim, right? To make the things lighter and thus reduce the fuel, to reduce the utilization of the fuel in the aerospace. In 3D printing technology, this 3D printing technology has been widely applied to produce the spare parts of some aerospace components such as engines. Right? The engine part is easily damaged, which requires regular replacement. Right? So we are focusing on those parts which requires regular replacements. 3D printing technology is a good solution to the procurement of such spare parts, right? Which requires regular replacement. Right? In the aerospace industry, nickel-based alloy is more preferred due to its tensile property, oxidation, corrosion resistance, and damage tolerances. Right? But if you will see that how many 3D printing machines are able to produce parts based upon these nickel-based alloys or non-ferrous alloys or some ferrous alloys also, they are very less in number. So we need to work on this area also, right? When it comes to the manufacturing of aerospace component, achieving target material properties is absolutely vital. Aerospace component often have a complex geometry and high buy to fly ratio. What is high buy to fly ratio actually? The ratio of raw material weight to the final part weight, right? So they are made usually from the advanced materials such as titanium alloy, nickel superalloy, special steel, or ultra high temperature ceramic, which are difficult, costly, and time consuming to manufacture. Therefore, AM is highly skilled for aerospace component manufacturing, right? But it has not been still fully utilized in this area. For Arcam, right? Again, it's a company that produces this IT manufacturing machines, right? That has made significant strides in the domain with the 220 plus printer aerospace components such as turbine blades, aerospace engines, industrial gas turbine, structural airframe components, and others are produced with cost efficiency and high accuracy. For these reasons, some of the leading manufacturers of aerospace component like LAI International and Alcoa have chosen the Arcam Q20 plus printers. So all these are, these produces the aerospace parts. So they are used this Arcam Q20 plus printer because it is suitable to produce all these important parts of the aerospace. Optomec, another company, has gone into action in the field of aerospace. Since 2011, it has started to 3D print electronics for military aerospace application. With aerosol jet printer, printing electronics directly onto 3D surface like cell phones, cases, or an aircraft wing is now possible. It can print conformal sensors, antennas, all the electronic components, and other active and passive components using common electronic material, including conductor, dielectric, resistors, and semiconductor units. This innovation has the advantage of eliminating the need for separate printed circuit boards, cabling, and wiring, thereby reducing weight and size while also simplifying the assembly process. Utilization of AM in the aerospace industry is not limited to fabricate new components, but it is extended to repair aircraft parts also. Now this is a new dimension to this 3D printing section, right? That it is also extendable to repair the aircraft engine part. Now, not only producing but also repairing has come into picture now, right? Reducing thereby the cost and extending their lifetime. Technology used in the repairing are lens and DMD. Lens is laser engineered nut shaping, and DMD is direct metal deposition, right? The utilization of AM in the aerospace industry is not limited to fabricate, but also, as I told you, to repair the aircraft engine part, reducing thereby the cost and risk. So you can see, damaged blisk repaired using lens. Right, blisk is just a turbo machine component comprising both of rotor disc and blades. Right, so this laser engineered nut shaping is used to repair the part. Both metallic and non-metallic parts for aerospace application can be manufactured or repaired using AM, such as aero engine parts, turbine blades, and heat exchangers. Non-metal AM methods such as stereolithography, multi-jet modeling, and fused deposition modeling are used for the rapid prototyping of parts and for manufacturing fixtures and interiors made of plastic, ceramic, and composite materials. Directed energy deposition technology is used for manufacturing large components as it is less accurate than the power diffusion, and that is plus minus 1 mm accuracy versus plus minus 0.05 mm accuracy, but much quicker, right? Time required is very less, up to 10 times. For example, Knox Titanium AS manufactures titanium structural part for Boeing 787. This Knox Titanium these are the producer of aerospace grade parts using the additive manufacturing technology, right? So they are using this in Boeing 787 Dreamliners using the in-house rapid plasma deposition PM process, in which titanium wire is melted in a chamber filled with the argon gas. Right? It is shielded with a gas also while melting. Right? This method resulted in the reduction of cost of $2 to $3 million per aircraft. See how much cost saving is there. Thales Alenia Space, another it's a French-Italian aerospace manufacturer, especially working in the space industry. It has collaborated with the Knox Titanium AS and were able to reduce the buy to fly ratio in half with a lead time reduction by 6 months, right? So you can see the time reduction in producing the parts, right? It has reduced, this buy to fly ratio made it to the half, right? And the rest reduce the lead time by 6 months. The 6 month is a huge time, right? If you are able to get this product within the such a short span of time, so it is very beneficial to us. JKN Aerospace developed the first advanced Ariane 6 nozzle for the Vulcan 2.1 engine produced by the Airbus Safran launchers, right? Airbus is extensively using this technique to develop the parts. It has collaborated with some good companies also. Right, Stratasys is one company which you all must be aware of, right? Producing different types of additive manufacturing machines. So it has collaborated with Airbus has collaborated with different industries, right? Additive manufacturing technique industries, and they are working together, coming up with such good economical features, right? The high precision of cloud-based fusion technology allows for the optimization of component design and integration with other functions. This technique is used mainly for small parts with higher complexity. The bracket developed for the Airbus A350 XWB, right, extra wide body, are 30% lighter and reduced the manufacturing time by about 75%. You can see this figure. That is of AM titanium bracket for Airbus, right? For extra wide body, this has been produced, right? And it is 30% lighter, and the time required was 25% less, 75% less. So you can see the huge advantage of using these technology for producing a small component like bracket in the Airbus. Arconic manufactures titanium fuselage and engines spireless component for the Airbus 350 extra wide body and A320 test version and NASA's SLS Orion spacecraft wings. Right. So Arconics manufactures titanium fuselage and engine pylons for all these Airbus and the NASA also. GE Aviation is using metal powder bed fusion machines to manufacture its next generation of jet engines component, which are characterized by intricate shapes for better cooling pathway and supports. The service life was incremented 5 times the number of required parts, and the number of required parts was reduced from 18 to 1, and the weight was reduced by 25%. So the weight reduction now is directly affecting the fuel consumption. So as weight is reducing, weight reduced from 18 to 1 parts, right? Because the number of parts are reduced to so much, right? So weight reduced was 25%. So fuel consumption has dropped down. So this is a huge advantage in case of such industries which requires a lot of fuel consumption and all. Non-metallic parts are also important for aerospace industry. Plastic, ceramics. Generally, we are developing all these things, right? Plastics, ceramics, and composites can be manufactured through stereolithography, multi-jet painting, and FDM process. Stratasys that I have talked about adopted FDM for rapid prototyping, manufacturing, tooling, and part production in collaboration with various aerospace companies such as Piper Aircraft, Bell Helicopter, and NASA. For example, NASA printed 70 components of the Mars rover using Stratasys FDM technologies to obtain a lightweight and a strong structure. As I told you, these Stratasys has collaborated with a lot of aerospace and automotive industries, and they are working together, coming up with a more lighter and stronger parts, right? Bell Helicopter manufactured polycarbonate wiring conduits for their V-22 Ospreys using FDM while reducing the manufacturing time to 2.5 days from 6 weeks. Now you can see 6 weeks time has been reduced to only 2.5 days. So you can see the advantage of using the additive manufacturing technology. Right? The NASA Aeronautics Research Institute is trying to develop an AM non-metallic gas turbine engine. Lightweight and high temperature resistant composite materials are being explored. Polymer matrix, polyether and ceramic matrix composite were produced with FDM and binder jet process. AM of ultra high temperature ceramic using zirconium bromide, zirconium carbide, titanium carbide, and others is currently an important area of study, right? As I said, these, as the temperature will increase, right? Means melting temperature of any material, raw material that will be used to produce a part will increase, the challenges is going to increase, right? High performance aerospace components are made of expensive material with advanced complex manufacturing technique. These parts are also subjected to corrosion, impact stress, and repeated thermal cycling that can generate defects or cracks. As these parts are extremely expensive, replacement is more favorable than repair. Right? So in that case, we have to see that where we have to go for the replacement, where we have to go for the repair, right? As we have seen in case of the bliss disc, right? We were just repairing it, right? On the other hand, AM technology can repair high value metal components in high precision and little generation of heat compared to the conventional welding processes. The laser beam creates metallurgical bonding between the parts and the added repair metals. These techniques generate minimum distortion and can be used for complex and thin-walled aerospace parts. Also, non-weldable materials or distortion sensitive part can be repaired with the AM. So you can see the capability of AM technology. Not only this production as well as this repair can be done. Non-weldable part can also be repaired using the AM. The most common approach, DED machine, direct energy deposition machine, spread and melt powder on the damaged area, while CNC milling machine improve the quality of the repair. Greater bit capacity, better accuracy, better surface finish can be achieved by this method. The added materials present better fatigue properties than the original wrought materials with no distortion beyond dimensional limit. See the advantage of using this, right? The added material, it presents better fatigue properties than the original wrought material and has no distortion, and it is within the dimensional limit. Moreover, this technique minimizes the degradation of mechanical properties caused by thermal stresses and can virtually repair any damage even in non-visible zones, right? So by just giving the dimensions and all, we can also repair anything in the non-visible zones also. The cost of repair has been evaluated 50% of the cost of remanufacturing the part. Automatic systems are being developed to individuate the damage, align the original CAD files with the physical system, to evaluate the location for ID material and repair the damaged component with AMO and CNC machine. So these are being collaborated together to get the outcome. The European Commission sponsored the project Repair to develop a semi-automated system for monitoring, analyzing and repairing defects. The system should reduce the cost of complex parts by 30%, their turnaround time by 20%, the production of scrap and toxic chemicals by 80%, component weight by 20%, and the inspection time by 30%. So see the advantages, whether it's time, whether it's waste material, whether it's weight, and whether it's inspection time. Though what happens when we come up with new technology, new idea of combining different parts together, then this inspection item also increases. Means we need to have a specialized inspection item for that. Generally, we have the common things with us, but when we will come up with a new technology, it will produce a new set of components. So new type of inspection uh, measuring or control system has to be there. AM will also change the spare parts supply chain. The distributed production of spare parts will reduce the overall operating cost and downtime, as well as the limiting inventory management and logistic information system. At the same time, AM will increase customer satisfaction, flexibility, capacity, and robustness against supply chain disruption. Right, as we are seeing, the number of spare parts will be reduced to large extent. Right, so it will be having a direct impact on the supply chain. So it is again a very good benefit that we will be getting using the AM. However, these changes would happen if the cost of a machine or raw material decreases. Right. So as we are seeing that we are coming up with the new ideas, challenges, solutions. Right. In the coming time, the future is of this additive manufacturing only. Right. So with the passage of time, we will resolve a lot of challenges, come up with a solution, and then definitely will come up with reduced cost of the machine and reduced cost of the raw material. EM can also manufacture old parts without keeping old tooling system, molds and die. For example, repairing and updating F-15 aircraft using AM, the substantial cost saving has been done. AIM technology already demonstrated great capabilities from rapid prototyping to manufacturing of end-user product, as well as semi-automatic repairing. All these things we have discussed. The aerospace industry is capable of driving further evolution while trying to overcome some limitations. So what is the limitations? Let's see in case of the aerospace industry. Size of the part, definitely. Right, the technology can manufacture part with a maximum height of 5.79 meters. Right, but if you talk of the aeroplane base, right, the length is very, it has a very huge length. Therefore, the large scale parts need novel approaches to relieve internal stresses and consequently distortion. Example, ultrasonic tools. Scalability, right? As we have discussed earlier also, it will be possible to use AM for mass production. However, the cost reduction is necessary for both the machines and the raw material before it becomes a feasible scenario. This we have discussed that the cost of the machine, cost of the raw material need to be reduced so as it could be used for the mass production. Right? Limited material and high cost. The cost of additive manufactured material per weight is higher than that of the conventionally manufactured material. However, the lower buy-to-fly cost of AM parts with nearly no waste compared to large amount of waste material generated from the conventional manufacturing of titanium bracket contains this issue for some application. The number of AM material is limited, but new AM adapted materials are being developed. Example: strong aluminum alloy, ultra high strength ceramics, and ceramic matrix composition. Right. So further, there is another one limitation, that is inconsistent quality. AM allows the manufacturing of complex structure, but their mechanical property have not been properly characterized. Right. As I told you, if we come up with a new technique of producing a single part or a combination of parts, we need to have a in addition to that, a good inspection system that will ensure the quality of the product. Right. And then also we need to characterize it properly, be it in microstructural skill or be it in mechanical field, right? So we need to find out that. So it is still being studied, right? In powder bed diffusion, the manufacturing process and its parameter greatly affect the material properties and can increase porosity and induce thermal stress. So this is one of the major disadvantages, right? A method for process monitoring and the creation of process structure property relationship integrated with the CAD tools are fundamental to detect and predict defects in order to improve the final design. So this is very important. As I told you that we need to study the microstructural property, we need to study the thermal properties, we need to study the mechanical properties. So and also we need to inspect the particular part, right? If it is an assembly of different number of parts, as we are saying that electronic component can be clubbed up with the different child parts, and then we can produce a single component consisting earlier, which used to make made up of different 4 or 5 components. Now we are trying to produce it with a single component. Due to small series and particularly the requirement of lightweight design, the aerospace industries try to avoid tools and focus on toolless additive manufacturing. Right. So in case of the aerospace industry, what is the prime importance is to reduce the weight. Lightweight design is required. Aerospace industry try to avoid the tools, right? And toolless additive manufacturing is the requirement of this industry. The milestone with regard to the direct production of interior aircraft part was the introduction of the flame retardant and low smoke FDM material, Ultem, right? Many parts used in the interior of the aircraft basically do not differ from the automotive ones. Therefore, sample parts for automotive application can also be considered as sample part for the aerospace application, right? Because as I told you, we have discussed this, that most of the parts are, some of means there can be a design change, but the design change may be also very minor. So the sample parts of automotive can also be used, and then you can study a lot of things on that, and then you can apply it in the aerospace industry. The development of metal processes as well as processes for processing of ceramic material allows direct manufacturing of technical parts for the airframe as well as for the engine. This is one of the hot air duct. As you can see, the aerospace industry parts. Below figure shows a hot air duct that was manufactured by 3D printed metal, and subsequently post processing was a heat treatment that was done, right? So this is a hot air duct for aviation turbine, 3D printed, post processing, right? Heat treatment has been done. This is another example of aerospace industry. The below figure shows a combustion chamber element made the selective laser melting. It verifies the applicability of ready-to-use complex 3D printed elements, right? Again, this bracket we have seen earlier, directly printed parts made from the metal are successful from technological and economic perspective if they are optimized with regard to geometry and function. AM offers the opportunity to apply a bionic design strategy, thus raising the potential for lightweight application. 3D printed lightweight bracket for Airbus only. Now coming to the third part of my talk, that is the application of 3D printing in arts, right? So, as we have discussed that this 3D printing has been extensively used initially for developing the prototype, right? So now what we are doing is, that is also an artwork, right? CAD model being developed and transferring it into this 3D printing machine and all these things. So the initial step is drawing part only. So drawing part is related to the art, right? It's directly related to the art. So all these things, these initial stage itself is comprising of all this application in the art field, right? Understanding the manufacturing process of creating in 3D will help the artist to know the best process for their work. Within additive manufacturing, there are several processes to choose from, and many are readily available to the average person. It is important to understand the best 3D printing technique to be used for the purpose among many, such as field preparation. Now, this is very important for any artwork, right? What purpose it is for, right? Most of the artwork is for aesthetic looks. We are just replicating the things that were existing, right? All these things are new things that we are developing. So the economical machine that we can use, we have to select based upon it. Such an intricate part, right? You can see artists can create intricate twinning or nesting shapes with 3D printing. Very difficult with the conventional one, and lot of material wastage will take place in this. The artists have been among the first using the almost unlimited freedom of design offered by AM process. The California artist Batseba generated invisible objects by 3D printing of metal powder. Using a special heat treatment after printing, they achieves exclusive surface effects. Our objects are final products and are sold as art object rather through the internet. Right? Metal was chosen as a material because it is regarded as most valuable than plastic due to weight. Left figure shows the object after manufacturing by 3D printing. The figure right, underlines that the special appearance is obtained by finishing operation. Right? So, as I told you, final product is being obtained. Some of the other post processing has to be done in order to use these products. Right? So, an art object made up of the left one made up by the AM manufacturer, right? And then the right one is for the post processing one that we get final product. The figure below shows the Altus Midmax, a trophy that portrays a horse of the famous stud Melkor. It was scanned and reconstructed and scaled approximately 12 inches high. The data was prepared by SLM process and printed from stainless steel. The horse tail with support is displayed in figure that is presented in the left side. It is displayed in the figure in the right side. Shows the final product after removing all the support and the intensive manual polishing, right? So you can see the horse sculptures left side that is made with the help of 3D manufacturing technique, SLM, right? And the right one is you remove the supports and all these things, and the final product. You can see the lustrous image of this horse, and also very the quality is also maintained in this one. So aesthetically, it is looking very beautiful. Right? You can see this. In June 2016, the French architect Dominique Parole was appointed one of the 56 members of the Académie des Beaux-Arts in Institut de France. Following an ancient tradition, new members bring their own usually classically designed sword to the ceremony. Parole designed a sword that resembles reinforcement steel and thus follows a new understanding of design, including new surface texture. It was produced using the SLM technique, and the material used was stainless steel. To be able to process the sword in the machine, it was divided into 5 sections, and then afterwards it was joined using the laser welding. Right? You can see long length of sword that is being made with the help of this SLM technique, and you can see the steel powder on the left side, joining section in the right one, how it is being joined using the laser welding. Now, summing it up, right? We have seen some of the applications in the aerospace, the companies that are there in the automotive industries, the manufacturer, the actual OEMs, right? Those who are working in developing the automobile or aerospace components, right? And also a bit about the art work, right? So let's see what all challenges we have in 3D printing now. Despite the benefit of 3D printing, such as freedom of design, this we have discussed, customization, and these are all the advantages because of which we are using this EM technique. There are few drawbacks that would require further research and technological development. These drawbacks include high cost, limited application, large structures, and mass production, inferior anisotropic mechanical properties, which is very difficult to this is one of the main disadvantages, that layer by layer formation takes place, and thus it gives you anisotropic property of the material, right? Limitation of materials and defect. The research and development material methods have helped to circumvent some of these challenges. However, few remaining challenges need to be addressed in order to expand the manufacturing to a broader range of application and industries. So let's see some of the challenges, right, that are pronounced in a particular printing method or material, but few are very common in all the AM method, right? First one is the void formation. Since it's not a continuous one part, right? What we do is we produce a part by adding up layer by layer. So one of the drawbacks is the void formation. One of the main drawbacks of 3D printing is void formation between subsequent layers of material. The additional porosity created by AM can be very high and can thereby reduce mechanical performance due to the reduction of interfacial bonding between the printed parts. So it is directly going to affect the property of the product, right? And if you talk about the mechanical property, definitely the mechanical property is going to get affected by the void formation. The extent of void formation highly depends on the 3D printing method and then the printed material. In a method that uses filament of material such as FDM or contour crafting, the formation of void is more commonly considered as one of the main defects that result in inferior and anisotropic mechanical properties. Right, so it's going to directly affect the mechanical property of the part. And then further, what will happen if there are a lot of voids? Delamination between the layers can take place after printing. This anisotropic microstructure and mechanical properties. Anisotropic behavior is one of the main challenges of AM because of the nature of layer by layer printing. The microstructure of the material inside each layer is different compared to that of boundaries between layers. Anisotropic behavior results in the different mechanical behavior of the 3D printed parts in the vertical tension or compression compared to that in the horizontal direction. In the metals and alloys which are 3D printed by heat fusion by using SLS technique or SLM, the addition of subsequent layer will heat the boundaries of the previous layers, which result in a different grain structure and anisotropic behavior due to the thermal gradient. So you have to keep a check on all these things because of this anisotropic microstructural mechanical properties. It can affect the other things also, right? Because initially, if you check the microstructure, so you will find a lot of things that are not required in the system. So that has to be, addressed in order to get a good product out of this. Diverging from design to execution. Computer-aided design software is a main tool to design a part that can be 3D printed. Because of limitation in AM, the printed parts can have a few defects that were not expected in the design element. CAD system is a combination of solid geometry and boundaries. It typically employs tessellation concept to approximate the models. However, transferring CAD into a 3D printed parts often result in inaccuracy and defects, particularly in the curved surface. Definitely, those who have worked, they will relate to it that when we transfer the CAD, the file into a 3D printing machine, so we always come across with such inaccuracies in the intricate parts of the curved parts, right? So very fine tessellation can potentially resolve the problem to some extent, but again the processing time, computational time and the printing time will be more. Therefore, post-processing, heat, laser, chemical sanding, right, to eliminate these defects are sometimes considered. Layer by next challenge is the layer by layer appearance, which is the more this is the more basis of 3D printing machine, that we are producing the part by layer only. Layer by layer appearance is another challenge owing to the nature of additive manufacturing. The below shows this reflect in the 3D printed concrete structure. The appearance may not be an important factor in the 3D printed parts in the hidden in the final application. Example is scaffold for tissue engineering, chemical or physical post-processing method, such as sintering can reduce this effect but will increase the post-processing time and cost. Trowel-like apparatus attached to a complete crafting printhead to eliminate the layer by layer appearance can be affected. The thickness of the layer and the height of the part determines the number of layers. Hence, severity by layer appearance can also be limited by reducing the number of layers. So, but if we are trying to resolve one problem, right, we should not evolve with another problem. So this has to be kept in the mind. Right? So what are the research possibilities that we can find out with all these challenges? First one is the multifunctional structures. Right? The possibility of manufacturing complex parts with multiple functions enhances the design freedom and allows for innovative solution. Right. So as we have discussed earlier, that we can get an assembly or connected parts together. Right. So the we can reduce the number of fixtures and tools required. We can save the weight and material also. Moreover, it is possible to integrate sensors, circuits, and wiring, or combine thermal and acoustic insulation function in the structure. So we can combine all these together, and thus we can reduce number of the tools or spare parts required for individual system. And also it will affect the supply chain also. It will have an advantage also. Ceramic material are frequently used for space flights, which are required to perform in elevated temperature. Ceramic can also be used with piezoelectric devices. However, the shapes are limited by conventional manufacturing processes. There is still a lot of work has to be done in this area of ceramics. Also, in case of the metals and alloys, also. Functionally graded material produced with AM technique could be combined to tailor the mechanical and thermal response of the component. A combination of metal and ceramics would reduce the brittleness of the ceramic thermal steel used during re-entry into the Earth atmosphere. However, the combination of multiple alloys will require the development of computational phase diagram and the evolution of material compatibilities, right? So, opportunities are many, but difficulties to resolve that are also not very simple, right? So, a lot of things has to be worked out to get the solution of any problem. Then on-demand manufacturing aim to reduce conflict on demand, reduces storage cost and eliminate possibility of damage during storage. Right, so inventory cost we can reduce. This we have discussed earlier also. Automated repair process. This is one dimension which is.
ಇದು ನಾಳೆಗೆ ಸೆಮ್ 4th ಅವರದಲ್ಲ 2nd ಅವರು ಈ ಈಶ್ವರೊಂದು ಇದು ಬಂತಲ್ಲ ಕೋಇನ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲದ ಅದ್ರ ಕಡೆ ನಾವು ಒಂದು 4th ಹಾಕಿದೆ.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. हाँ sir.
Yes sir. Yes sir. So the last research possibility that I was discussing is the automated repair process. The use of repairing processes is reducing the cost of high-value components during their lifetime. However, it is necessary to develop automatic method to detect the defect and automate repair parts. And we have discussed this that European project repair that other studies funded by GKN Aerospace are attempting to address these issues correctly, right? So this is a very good area which can be worked upon in the future, right? To detect the defect and they automatically repairing it. What are the concluding remarks? As each industrial or car business already uses or is about to use a computer to generate or improve the product by means of 3D CAD, the most important precondition to apply IT manufacturing process and digitalization is already fulfilled. At least does not form a big obstacle anymore nowadays, because many of our are using this 3D CAD model. So initial step we already have learned. So now we are moving ahead. So initial step we all know. So we are moving ahead with other things now. So as a consequence, currently almost everybody is a potential user of IT manufacturing. The presented example shows clearly that there is no fixed linkage between the IT manufacturing process and branches of industry. The decision regarding which AM process to use has to be taken from case to case. Right? How to, where to use, what raw material, which machine, all this has to be taken care as per the different cases. Sometimes this get difficult because of in some cases satisfactory results cannot be achieved by different AM processes, while in others only one process is applicable. Therefore, the suitable additive process has to be chosen depending on the requirement of the part and not depending on the plant of the industry. In terms of methods, FDM is one of the most common 3D printing technologies because of low cost, simplicity, and high speed processing. This we have seen in the example that we have cited, that how much this FDM is being used. It is originally used for 3D printing of polymer filament but has been adopted to many other materials. Aluminium is the mainly used for fast prototyping and the mechanical properties, and the quality of the printed parts are lower compared to the powder bed method such as SLS and SLM. Direct energy deposition uses source of energy to melt metal powder, but no powder bed is. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir,
Hello.
Vikas sir. Yes, sir.
I think I was presenting. It has gone. My screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. इसके concluding remark.
Yes. So this direct energy deposition uses a source of energy to melt powders, but no powder bed is used compared to SLM, and the feedstock is melted before application, before deposition in layer by layer fashion, similar to FDM, but with an extremely high amount of energy for melting metal. So DED is being used nowadays extensively, right? Because it produces large amount of energy as compared to other methods. So we have to see that where we can utilize this feature, right? Are the references that I have taken. Thank you all for being so good listener, patiently listening to me. Yes, sir.